listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. So I've been having a ton of fun lately with everyone in the 30-day Manifesting Challenge. That's my online event where we practice having what we want just a little bit every day in a variety of ways in order to come into alignment with what we want so that it will manifest. And one of the tools we've been playing with, I call it props and pocket litter. It's where you find things to place in your physical immediate space that cue you into alignment, stuff that says you got what you wanted. It's a really cool thing to play with. But, with clients sometimes and with, some of the people, even with myself on occasion, it's like, whoa, this sounds really cool. But we sometimes get stumped. How do I practice it? Like, what do I put in my physical environment? It's like sometimes hard to think of things. So that's actually the process of imagining what will be different in your physical world when you have what you want and finding ways to implement those changes now. Super powerful. But even just wondering, the process of imagining, what would be different? That's aligning in itself, let alone actually putting the things in place. So anyway, a couple of us were wondering, what would we do? I'm talking about things like, let me give a couple of examples. Like if I were a brilliant coach in high demand, I would not have an empty calendar. My calendar would be booked. If I were a brilliant coach in high demand, I would not have empty files that have no client names on them. There would be names on those file folders, and there would be notes in there because I'd been doing work with people, things like that. So anyway, I had an experience recently that gave me a new perspective on how to evaluate your physical space for what it says about you. I was supposed to meet a guy at my house. It's a guy I'd been to my house once before on a professional level, though. This was we were meeting on a personal level, and at least we were supposed to meet. It turns out I was 30 minutes late and he was early. So he texted, he's like, what do you want me to do? Oh my gosh. I gave him instruction. I told him, just go on in, make yourself at home. I'll be there as fast as I can. And I was racing. I was really racing because I was uncomfortable thinking about what this guy is learning about me while he pokes around my place just waiting for what he has nothing to do but sit down and look around. You know what I mean? So I was imagining, what is he seeing? What is he seeing? And what is he concluding about me based on what he said, on what he sees? And I was thinking about if he opened my fridge to look for something to drink, oh my gosh, he'd see there were some leftovers from restaurants and some, like my mom makes me lasagna, sometimes enchiladas, some cool stuff. Like my mom packs up meals for me. I don't cook. That's what he would see when he opens my thing. It'd be like, clearly, this girl doesn't cook. And then if he was looking around on the counter, I knew I had a stack of mail that I hadn't even opened. And I thought he might look at that and go like, that looks like a lot of bills that haven't been addressed. And then I wondered, oh my gosh, did I remember to scoop litter boxes this morning? I'm not sure that I had scooped litter boxes. I'm not positive that I had. I was just hoping and praying, please, that my PJs and bra and such made it into the closet before I left home for the day. Because you can learn a lot about a person by looking at their stuff. There are even books written on this topic. I read one called Snoop. I just like this idea of what we can glean from someone based on what they've got in their environment. So, in fact, I remember I went to a date's house once and I didn't know him that well. I knew a little bit about him. I went to his house. Oh my gosh. He had a really nice house in a very expensive neighborhood, and I knew he had a good job, good company. But when I walked in, his walls were bare, except for he had like 2 pictures of 2 adorable kids. But that was it. His furniture looked secondhand, like he got it at a yard sale or something, or maybe from a college dorm. And he had a bike in his kitchen. And on his counter, he had a ton of gun magazines. Gun magazines that were thumbed through, like you could tell this wasn't just it arrived and no one read it. So, I'm taking it all in and I'm making I'm coming to conclusions about this guy or making some judgments just based on looking at his stuff. Because it says something, right? I mean, what I was thinking about him is that his ex-wife got all the furniture in the divorce and he didn't bother to replace it. Like, doesn't he care about being comfortable? Or doesn't he care what people think when they walk in his house? Apparently not. It also said to me that he's got very specific life interests that he takes seriously. His bike in a kitchen. It also said that his kids feature prominently in his life. I mean, nothing else made it onto the walls. At least his kids did. All that had me wondering, so what's my date thinking of me as he's poking around my place? All right, here's why I'm talking about this. Because our stuff says something about us and our life. As conscious creators, we can leverage that. We can create an environment that reflects the life we want to manifest. Like we can make our environment say, we got what we wanted before we actually have. And that can help us with our alignment. It can help us get used to the idea. It can help us acclimate to it. So we can use our physical space to reinforce the reality that we want. So the invitation is to consider, what would your space look like if your favorite dream came true? What would be in your car or on your desk or in your pockets? What would you see in your closet or your bathroom cabinet? There would be some differences, right? If we look around for what those differences are, start closing that gap, it's good for your alignment. Because the things around us, they can serve our alignment or they can hinder it. In fact, it makes me think about how I just put a little while ago, I put the roof rack on my car for my paddleboard for the summer. And as soon as I put that thing on, I'm telling you, I felt more fun. Just seeing that roof rack on my car. Every time I'd walk down to the garage, you'd be like, yeah, that's right. I'm a girl who has a good time. I'd go to the grocery store and come out. I'm like, yeah, look at me. I know how to have fun. That roof rack said something to me long before I ever even put the paddleboard on it. Even, you know what, in the wintertime, when the roof rack hung on the garage wall, it reminded me I'm having fun. It's kind of cool. Same with having, not the exact same, but it means something to me. When I've got a can of KMR, kitten milk replacer, in the pantry, that says I'm expecting foster kittens. That says to me that I'm living the life that I want. I didn't always get to have KMR in the pantry. Growing up, my parents did not allow me to help stray cats. I got in big trouble for sneaking food out to the kittens. And boyfriends, good Lord. I was with a guy for a long time who he was not excited about me having fosters. And I minimized it as a result. I didn't have KMR in my pantry when I lived with him. And I've got it now. When I see it in there, it just makes me smile. On the other hand, my closet, when I think about what my closet says to me, it's just shouting practicality and comfort. There's nothing smoking hot. Okay, there's one dress that's to impress. There's one. And it does impress. I mean, it does its job. But hello. Anyone who was interested in having romance in her world, this closet isn't that closet. If I were manifesting that would be a good thing to change. Because the opportunity for conscious creators is to think about how our space would be different when we get what we want and to start closing that gap. It's how we come into higher alignment with those dreams. So I'm going to invite you to think about what that would be in your world. Imagine you got a super hot date at your place poking around. What's he learning about you? And what could be there different that would say something different? Yeah, I got some ideas. Look, next time, I'll just tell him to go to the local cafe. No. Because it's all working out perfectly. And we know how this works. All that matters is that we find a way to feel what we want. And when we can use our physical space to leverage ourselves into that vibration. It's just yet one more way for us to create what we want. So we're playing with tons of ways to create what we want in our 30-day manifesting challenge. We're already launched. You don't want to join that now, but we will run it again later this year. You can get on the wait list so you can get an alert when our next one starts. I got a lot of people who've been emailing. Somehow, some way, people were figuring out how to get in even after we started. I know how that happened, though. It was one of the manifesting tools. I told a story about how money keeps coming. I told the story about how I couldn't turn it off if I tried. And sure enough, there I was having that experience where money came in even when I thought I pulled the page down. Okay, that's my long way of saying if you go to goodvibechallenge.com, you can enter your email. I'll let you know the next time we're playing there. But in the meantime, take a look around and see if there's something you can change in your physical environment to tell you that you got what you wanted, and have some fun with that. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.